Hello, one and all! As I review My Hero Academia, Chapter 302, The Wrong Way to Put Out Fire, Part 2. And we open up, I'm guessing, just a few hours after the last chapter ended, given we see Endeavor's sleeve is burned from when, Toya attempted to murder Shoto! Thankfully, he was unsuccessful. We see poor little baby Shoto sleeping in the corner with a frozen snot bubble. Oh, that was adorable. But anyway, so now Endeavor and Ray are discussing the best thing they can do for Toya right now. And instead of, putting him in a mental hospital or getting him therapy or putting him on the right medication, Endeavor decides the best possible thing he can do for his son is to isolate Shoto from him and to basically never appear in front of him ever again, because it's just a reminder of the hero life they'll never be able to live. Though I do love Ray's response to that. Aren't you just running away? Oh, I love that. Absolutely love it. And, she is definitely right in the mark here. I mean, as she says, all Toya ever wanted was for Endeavor to look at him, to view him, to value him, to say that he, wanted him to be born, to say that he wanted him to exist, that his life had meaning. And Endeavor couldn't do that because he didn't know how to say it. He didn't know how to take that burden off his shoulders, tell him that he couldn't be the hero anymore, and he didn't want to, serve as a reminder to the life that he almost lived, but didn't, but couldn't. Anyway, then we flash forward 5 years and see an adorable teenage Fuyumi. Oh, she is so cute, so cute. And Toya, who looks fairly normal. I mean, he attempted to murder his brother when he was 8, but, he's got a computer, toys, a nice room, all that. He looks like he's living a fairly ordinary life when he's not, in the middle of his training, which constantly burns him over and over again. So, curious about that. Then we get this scene again. This scene we saw years and years ago of Shoto looking out at his siblings playing ball. He's like, why can't I play with them? And, back then it's like, oh, well, Endeavor's doing this because he wants to keep Shoto entirely focused on his training, on this, on that. But now we see that wasn't the entire reason. He was also trying to keep Shoto away from Toya, away from the jealousy and anger and hatred that Toya felt towards him. We also do get some clarification on what Natsu meant when he said that Toya would come to him again and again crying. I mean, I and a lot of us assumed back then that what he was saying was that Toya would come to him, burned and beaten and bruised from Endeavor's training, crying because of how hard Endeavor had pushed him. But no, more he's crying and having like a full mental breakdown here in front of Natsu over the fact that Endeavor, won't pay him any attention, and how the women in the house are good for nothing, which... wow, that's an interesting thing to say. I mean, I assume last chapter, because he was still calling, Ray mom, that meant that he had some sort of attachment to her, like he still loved her, still cared about her. That definitely does not seem to be the case here. I mean, she straight up asks him, do you even want to be a hero? Which, no, he doesn't. He never, talk about how he wants to defend people, save people, protect people. All he's ever wanted to be a hero for is just for the sake of his father, for the sake of, living up to his ideals, for the sake of being seen by him. And as Ray's trying to convince him of that, his response is terrifying. Basically saying that she was sold into this family because her parents were too dang poor and that she's just as guilty as Endeavor. Wow, and she actually looks terrified. She looks truly, truly terrified of him here. Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. Then we also get another interesting nugget about exactly why Endeavor didn't recognize Dabi as Toya. Like, well, those blue flames are pretty, freaking iconic. And turns out, though, Endeavor never actually saw those blue flames. Back when Toya turned 13, when he had that growth spurt, his fire turned from red to blue as it became more and more intense. And he kept saying, hey, Pops, come check it out. Come with me to the mountains. You get to see what I can do now. It's so cool. It's so awesome. But Endeavor never went with him. Endeavor never saw the training, so he never actually saw it happening. And, oh god, this next line is actually heartbreaking. I might be as awesome as Shoto sooner or later. Maybe I'll even be better than All Might someday. He's basically saying that he might be on the same level as Shoto, but it might also be even better than All Might. So he's basically saying that Shoto, even though he's just 5 years old at this point, is already better than All Might. Already, goes without saying that at some point, sometime, Shoto will outshine All Might. He'll become the next symbol of peace. He'll become this, he'll become that. And all Toya is trying to do here is be at that level, be almost as good as him, so that Endeavor will look at him, Endeavor will pay some attention to him. And then Endeavor gets very, very mad, starts screaming and probably abusing his wife. Which, bad Endeavor, bad Endeavor. I mean, I get his motivation here. He's just so concerned about his son. He wants something done about it, but really, he's just taking his rage at himself out on her here. I just absolutely love this page for so many reasons. I mean, Shoto, young little Shoto, he is standing up. He's trying to protect his mother. Don't bully mommy. Stop it. Don't be mean to her. He's literally being the definition of a hero from All Might, from the first chapter, you know, from heroes from a young age. They would stand up, protect people who needed to be defended. That's what Shoto is doing here. He is a true 100% hero, not because of his father's ideals or goals, because at his heart, he is a hero, and it just works so well for him. And then we see Fuyumi and Natsu in the corner, and oh god, Fuyumi just hugging her ears and her brother trying to block this all out. It's so heartbreaking, but at the same time, it fits so well in her character with what she said. I had hoped, if nothing else, I would keep smiling. You know, that's what she's been trying to do all these years, to forget and block out and to ignore all the awful things that have happened in their lives so she can keep on smiling, keep on, you know, the appearance that everything was okay when really it wasn't. And then we see Toya burn, and, you know, as much as I love this flashback, it still didn't answer the biggest question I had about all of this. How exactly did he survive? How exactly did he become Dabi after this? I mean, these are burns serious enough where he needed massive skin replacements, and it was even said they lost part of his jawbone, and yet he managed to get out of this. I can't imagine it was done by himself. Saying for a while, you know, I thought the Japanese government was involved. Maybe All For One, some other force, some other third party had to step in and save him from this. I mean, it's not like he even had this planned. He lost control of his fire because his motions ran out of control, and Endeavor never taught him, you know, the proper way to turn it down, the proper way to stop the heat. So he didn't know what to do here, and, you know, he basically, like I said, just lost control of it. So, I mean, we see Endeavor going through the wreckage shortly after the fire lets out, looking for his son, looking for any trace of him. So, you know, whoever did this, whoever came in and saved him, had to have been there, you know, as the fire was still burning. So, just so many questions about that. Again, I'm really gotta say, Japanese government had to play some sort of role in all of this. At least that's my best thoughts. Anyway, then the whole family gets everything off their chest. I do love Endeavor here. But having killed Toya, I mean, he straight up says it here, I murdered my son. He is dead because of me. Anyway, then he basically goes on to explain that the reason why he was so abusive and awful to Shoto growing up was because, you know, he had to put in everything into him. He had to push out everything else. He had to make a number one hero. What was Toya even for? What was his life even for? And then the rest of the family gives their own 2 cents about their own guilt and all this. And something I do need to clarify here is I don't think it's, you know, his children, his abused wife saying, oh, we are just as guilty as you are here. I think it's more about them saying, you know, we feel this level of guilt. We have felt guilty about this. We've blamed ourselves partially for this. And that's, you know, the reason why we're so mad at you. So we didn't have to look at ourselves. So we didn't have to think, oh, did I play some sort of role? Is there something I could have done that made this come out better? Oh god, I just love Ray calling Shoto the family hero. As we flash back to when Deku first convinced Shoto to actually be a hero, not to take revenge against his father, because he wanted to be a hero, because he wanted to use his quirk to save people. Oh, god, I freaking love that. And as it turns out, you know, Shoto's not going to be the one that's fighting Toya, or at least he's not going to be the only one. He straight up tells us Endeavor here, okay, you know what, we're going to have to fight Toya together. We're going to have to take him down together, somehow, some way. There's a good question about what he means by we. I mean, what role is his brother, sister, and mom going to play in this? That's a very good question. I think the best role they could play here would probably be, you know, them going on TV, standing beside Endeavor when he gives a press conference, when he says what really happened. He explains the true story of how Toya became Dabi and all that. I mean, they definitely weakened Dabi's claim that Endeavor is this awful, terrible monster that deserves to be killed, and just basically ruined Dabi's plan to destroy Endeavor's reputation, at least a little bit. And then we see Hawks and Best Genius waiting outside the room, and I'm not gonna lie, I actually missed that last page because the one before it was the one that said next chapter comes out next week. So then I left it there, I went to the My Hero Academia Reddit page, I'm like, oh, what's everyone saying about this chapter? And I'm like, oh, Hawks and Best Genius, Hawks and Best Genius. I'm like, wait, did I miss them? And I went through the whole chapter again, I'm like, where are they? Why am I not seeing them? They're like in the corner of the panel somewhere? And then I realized, oh, okay, there was a whole nother page after that. Oh, glad I saw that before I started doing this review, honestly. And I don't know, it seems like Hawks is holding up his phone. I saw some people online saying that he was recording this conversation, which, I mean, seems unlikely. It does make a certain amount of sense, you know, him revealing this, you know, completely unedited, unadulterated version of the true Endeavor, his true story to the world, I think would be a big step in making people understand and forgive him and move past all of this, but that seems just so very, very unlikely. So instead, it seems more like Hawks is showing Best Genius something on his phone, some news alert, some notification, something going on. Dabi did something, or the League of Villains did something, or the villains that were released did something. I'm very, very curious about that. it definitely seems intentional that he had his phone up there, so I'm not sure. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the chapter. Like I said, really thinking next chapter is going to be, a big press conference, the whole family standing together, basically against Dobby, saying we're going to stop him, we're going to defeat him, we're going to make peace somehow, some way. We haven't seen Deku in quite a while. He's still basically in a coma, so yeah, I wonder what's going on with Deku. I mean, I've been saying for a while, I thought, okay, he must be having like visions of the past users of One For All. He's speaking with them, he's talking with them, he's learning how to use their quirks, getting lessons from them, stuff like that. And he's gonna find some way to use those powers to save the day, to stop Shigaraki, to heal his wounds more quickly. Because, yeah, let's not forget, everyone is very badly wounded right now. And, I mean, the question really is, how long is Shigaraki gonna wait to make his next move? Because, I mean, Deku's legs are broken. That's going to be at least a couple months to heal. Shoto's covered in bandages. That's at least a couple weeks on his part. So, yeah, it's very, very curious exactly how long they're going to have to recover, train, and prepare for the next arc, which is probably going to be, the big ultimate final battle against Shigaraki, League of Villains, and the Nomu, and basically every escape villain in all of Japan. Oh, that's going to be interesting. That's going to be very, very interesting. But let me think all down below. Be sure to like and subscribe. See you in this next video. Until then, peace.